Hi, this is Mike, Family DIY TV, and today I'm going to show you and walk through the process of replacing a GCFI outlet. Did you know that you're supposed to replace these every 10 years? Well, if you didn't, now you do. To do this project, what we need is a screwdriver. I recommend something along the lines of a screwdriver like this where it has multiple pieces. The Klein screwdriver like this is very nice. I'll put a link to it down below. I would also recommend something like this. This is a voltage tester. This tells you if there's any voltage actually running to the circuit. This is very nice. I'll also put a link down below for this as well. If there's power, it'll go off. If there's not, there won't. So I already turned the power off to this outlet. Another thing I recommend here is when I moved into this house, I actually made myself kind of a schematic of all of the circuits and all of the outlets in the entire house. And I have a schematic of the actual circuit breaker box. So when I know I need to turn something off, which is right here, we're working on garbage disposal GCFI outlet, I turn off outlet number 8. Okay, so this is something I would recommend any DIYer does. So power is off. This is the last thing I'd recommend. This is a detector. After you finish putting the outlet in, you use this to make sure that the outlet is connected correctly. Now you can see there's no power. You can also use this as a power on or off kind of detector as well. So let's get started. First thing you gotta do, pull the covers off. Okay, now we got the cover off. We're gonna pull these screws out. Flathead, still flathead. Okay, so what we can see here is that actually this GCFI is feeding more outlets in the house. So it's got the power coming in for this outlet, but it's also feeding an additional outlets down the line, okay? So before we wire that, I just have a switch here for my garbage disposal. I'm gonna get this wired up first, just so I can get this one out of the way, then we'll move on to the GCFI. Whatever. Okay, so the switch is wired up. So let's get back to the GCFI. So this GCFI, you can see it wired in one of two ways for the most part. You're either gonna see 2 wires wired to this or 4 wires. In this case, I have 4 wires. What that means is I have 2 wires coming in with power, and then I have 2 wires that are going out that are feeding additional outlets, okay? So for a total of 4 wires being hooked up, okay? And if actually you look at your instructions, you can see this would be the 2 wires, so the power coming in, and this is the 4 wires, power coming in, and then power going out, okay? So then what you wanna do is you basically wanna figure out what wires are the ones coming in and which are the ones going out, okay? So the 2 wires that are coming in are gonna be going to the bottom, if you're in my case. And if that's all you have, then that's all you have. You stop there. But if you have additional wires, another 2 wires that you need to feed additional outlets, then you're gonna need to use this up here. So in my case, I'm gonna take the sticker off, and I'm gonna have to look at this and figure out which ones are the power coming in and which ones are the power going out, okay? So if we look at our old one, we can see this one has input. So this is the 2 wires that are bringing the power into this outlet. And then this one says output. I'm not sure if you can see that. These are the 2 wires that are going out. So what I'm gonna do is simply take the 2 wires that are coming in. They are going to be connected to the line in, the bottom ones. And then the 2 wires that are going out to feed the additional outlets are gonna be connected to the top 2, or the load. Okay, we're gonna do that now. Okay, so we're gonna start with we always start with our ground. So now we're gonna work on our line in. So this is the power coming in to this box. So we're going to put our white with the silver and black with the bronze. BBB. I'm not sure if you saw my other videos, but that's the easiest way I found. I remember triple B, and that stands for black, bottom, bronze. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link the video up right now of that. But that's the easy way I found to remember how if the black goes with the silver or with the bronze screw. So once that's in nice and tight, now what we're gonna do is we need to hook up the load side. So the load side is the outlets, okay? So the outlets that we're feeding. And you can see we're actually feeding the switch at the same time. That's why there's this little jumper here, okay? So first thing we'll do is we'll disconnect this, connect this. Now we can get this old trash out of here. Then what we need to do is we need to create a couple jumpers, okay? So we're gonna put one jumper here for the white, and then we'll make another one for the black. And what I do is I have a bag of old wire and stuff like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this the same length. Cut that. I'll put a link to these tools as well down below. If you're a DIYer, you should have all of this stuff. You know, and you keep it together in a bag so that when you're doing your electrical, you pull out all your electrical tools. When you're doing your plumbing, you'll pull out all your plumbing tools. All right, I think I'm gonna replace these wire nuts. I'm not really, I think they seem like they're old. And I've heard before that wire nuts are one-time use. I'm not 100% sure if that's true. This is very important to not just put the wire on, but you want to use some kind of lineman to connect those together mechanically. So this is just basically holding them on after the fact. And really crank that on there. Okay, and then give it a tug, make sure it's not coming off. All right, so now we have our two feeds, or our two tails. Now we connect these to the back of this. This one goes here, and of course. Okay, now comes the fun part, shoving these things back in here. Now, there's no really easy way to do this. You usually start with the ground first, but with this one, we're just gonna kind of have to get everything All right, so the power is back on. We can check to see if the power is working. First thing we can do, we can check that the garbage disposal is working, and it is. We can use this device. I'll put a link to this device and this device down below. What this does is this checks the wiring to make sure that the outlet is wired up correctly. And the nice thing about this, and if these two lights light up, it's correct, which it is, we can also test the GCFI with this. And we can see that it did go off, and there you go. So I will put a link to all of these devices that I used down below. I would suggest if you are a DIYer to put together a kit of all of your, electrical stuff, and also do it with your plumbing. It just keeps things all together nice and neat. But I'm Mike from Family DIY TV, and I'm out.